This is actually my first time ever recording an interview with anyone, really, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's a relatively new radio show. It's like only on the internet right now. But,
Nice.
yeah, no problem, man. You've actually been like, I've been listening to 10-Foot Poles since I was about 11 years old. So I've been, think I actually,
Not when I started.
yeah, exactly. Like your album Unleashed was the first one I'd ever heard, and I actually did hear the old stuff with Scott, and I was kind of like, it's not as good.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you.
I bet you don't really hear that a whole heck of a lot, hey?
Well, like, opinions vary, but it's usually like the ones who are the most vocal are the ones who are most likely to,
Yeah, exactly.
most likely to say something, or ones with a big complaint. So it does still hurt my feelings when people say stuff, but it's, with people like, oh, the old guy was better.
I know, man. It bugs me too. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I first heard Unleashed and then I heard the old stuff, Maybe that's why you're the original singer to me.
Oh, nice. Well, opinions vary. I'm certainly not mad if somebody has an honest opinion about it, but it was like 25 years ago, so it does get irritating if people just, have to harp on it forever. It's kind of like, if you don't like it, then, go listen to Poe or whatever. And,
Exactly.
And sometimes people give me a hard time about stuff, like, same thing with, like, Escalating Quickly. It's like, why didn't you make a record just like Rev or just like Insider or something? It's like, well, it's not like I had to record over those records. I just wanted to do something a little different.
No, exactly. And it actually turned out really good. I was kind of surprised when I heard most of it. You got some little electronic elements in there, and I don't know, for some reason I'm really digging like Forever Road and which one is it? I Hate the Night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, believe it or not,
Yeah, it definitely came from a different place. This record, was written almost all on acoustic guitar, and I was out touring with other bands doing sound, like for Jimmy Eat World and Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, nice.
Kind of writing songs by myself on an acoustic, and then Ryan Green, the producer, really had a.
Yeah, I saw you worked with him.
Adding a lot of the stuff, like the little guitar parts and keyboard parts.
Okay.
Songs differently.
No, it sounded really good. I don't even know what to say about it, but I did follow it on Facebook for a little bit, so I kind of saw the making of. You guys posted a whole bunch of stuff. It was awesome. And my favorite part was actually Ryan Green's, when he shared it, his little blurb about how much fun it was to make. So it kind of made me want to really listen to it after that. So totally gave it the full on listen.
It's really interesting the way that it kind of developed, because if you listen to, you can still find, if people are big fans, you can still look up videos of me on tour with Weird Al or Jimmy Eat World.
Oh, really?
Singing in public places. You can see me doing different versions of the song.
Oh, cool.
It's just acoustic guitar and vocals, and the songs evolved a little bit, and I would say one thing about it that was cool was that it kind of filtered out the ones that I didn't feel were worthy. Unlike sometimes in the past we'd write songs and then just put it on recording and put the record out.
Oh yeah.
This time I was playing them in front of people, and so it kind of gave me that
okay
nervous experience of having to feel well, is this song good enough to play in front of people? Is this song worthy of their time? And so I kind of instantly got rid of a bunch of songs that weren't, I felt, up to par.
Okay.
And I think that was kind of a cool way to do it, where what was left was stuff that I was really stoked about. Maybe the order of the songs on the album should have been a little different. Maybe when people first started listening, and we kind of started the record out with some slow ones.
Well, Everything Dies wasn't exactly. Well, Everything Dies wasn't too slow. It was different. That chorus is different from anything that I've heard 10-Foot Pole do.
Yeah. But compared to the old punk stuff, it's definitely kind of mid-tempo. And there were some of the old fans who were kind of why is it so slow? Why isn't it, 90s skate punk?
Yeah, exactly.
There are some songs on there that still have that energy, I think.
Oh, totally.
Put them later in the record, and maybe if they would have heard those songs first, they might not have been kind of instant definitely like, whoa, this is too mellow. There were a few people who were kind of responded that way, and I was hoping that the record would still keep a bunch of old fans, but also possibly, gain some new people who just, like the whole different sound and the whole different vibe.
Oh no, it's definitely got me hooked. I quite enjoy it. If I make it to the show in Regina, I'll definitely be buying a copy of the vinyl for you guys to sign. But
oh, cool! Yeah, we finally got the vinyl. That's always such a struggle. The vinyl takes a lot longer to make than the other thing. So
I know. I run a small, little, teeny weeny little label here, and I try to do like short run vinyl, which you can do lathe cut stuff now. It's actually pretty cool.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, have you ever heard of it? Like lathe cut vinyl, it's just short runs. You can get like 10, 20 made.
I've heard you can do small orders, but I didn't realize that that's how it was being done.
You probably can do small orders in like real pressing plants, but it's still going to cost you for like, the pressing, like for the masters and stuff. So basically what this is, it's just they cut it into the needle like they do the master, or like they cut it into the record like they do the master. It's kind of an interesting process. Audio Geography, I can't remember where. I think they're out of Tallahassee, Florida, and they do great work. They've done our records before. Look them up if you want. They're pretty cool.
Nice. Well, I just try to make good music and hope people like it.
Oh yeah.
The thing about vinyl these days being, attractive to people is cool. It's something different. At least people want to buy something. It is neat that it's on like the big format with the artwork looking big, and
right. You have something to show for your money.
The different colors of vinyl.
Yeah. Some
people buy like six records because they want to have every color.
Oh, I know. I got that.
Cool.
Man, you guys were on this compilation back in the day. I think it was called Punk Bites. Had a picture of like a kid eating cereal, and all the cereal was like punk bands. Yeah, I can't remember what song of your guys' was on it, but I literally just found that on vinyl. It was like $36, and I was done. Like, ship that crap to me right now.
Nice. I was just looking at my old vinyl collection. I still have a few records, and I have a couple of Scared Straight records.
Oh, nice.
That's kind of funny. That the only thing is that I was so mad about the way they did the. I never consented to the title of the record. They called it "You Drink, You Drive, You Die."
Yeah.
The record label was trying to make us look like a straight edge band, and we really weren't. So it was kind of a little annoying.
Yeah, I get that actually.
And so I wasn't really like pushing to get that out. Like at that point, I was kind of over it and like, okay, let's change the name to 10-Foot Pole, and we'll just keep pushing 10-Foot Pole, and we shall never mention Scared Straight again. But now that punk's kind of making a comeback in some circles, it's kind of cool. People are asking questions about Scared Straight or kind of interested in it. It basically was, a more primitive version of 10-Foot Pole, more just kind of more basic.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard it before. I think there's somebody that put it up on YouTube because I've listened to it many a time.
Oh, yeah, it's on YouTube. I mean, I guess everything is nowadays, but I mean, it's just really simple music, but it was fun, and we did what we could. We were little kids, and it wasn't like today where there's recording technology where everybody can just make a record in their bedroom.
And that's the funny thing is that's how I'm still making this show. Even is I have a Boss, like a Roland BR 1600. I don't know if you ever heard of them machines.
No, I mean, I'm not familiar with it. It's a digital, or
it's almost like an analog digital recorder. I don't even know how to describe it. It's got like 8 tracks of digital that you can play with, but you have to dick around with it like it's a tape deck kind of thing.
Oh, neat.
It's really weird, but it produces some pretty cool sounds if you really dig into this thing. And I've still got it, and I've had it since I was like, Jesus, maybe 22 or something.
Wow.
And it's still producing stuff for me. But there is one thing I do want to talk about because it's my favorite record, like, almost ever. And I was doing the math, and it came out 22 years ago? Unleashed,
yeah, 96, 97? I don't remember exactly. I want to say 96.
I can't remember if it was 96 or 97 either, but actually, yeah, it is 97. I just listened to the vinyl the other day. So, yeah, it is 97. But, yeah, like you were mentioning something about recording the vocals low and like late night recording sessions or something. Like, I love hearing stories about that kind of stuff, man.
Well, yeah, our first, second guitar player, so when we were Scared Straight, I was the original guitar player. Then we added a second guy, and he was a cool guy. Like, we couldn't drive yet, but he was older and cooler. He had an El Camino.
Oh, sweet.
So that was like half of the reason to get him to the band. Like, oh, he could drive us to the gig. And he drove us out to Hollywood to play shows and stuff. But playing guitar was a bit of a struggle for him, especially recording where you get really, like, you want it to be perfect.
Exactly.
But, he always had some kind of rhythm challenges.
Oh, yeah.
That's one way to put it. He used to kind of watch our hands to see, like, it was kind of like, when Nancy Reagan helped Ronald Reagan, like, clap a lot.
In the later years.
And he's, like, clapping. Well, even before then, like, he just didn't have any sense of rhythm.
Oh, really?
He had a guitar player who was like that. And
oh.
It took forever to record the guitar parts on some of these songs because he just kind of struggled with timing and stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, what that happened on all the early records, and so back in those days it was a daily rate for the studio, and so we had a very firm limit on when we had a certain number. I don't even remember how many days it was. Maybe it was 18 days or something. But
holy crap!
It took like one day just to get the drums up, and then the next day, the drums up to get sounds, and then we'd spend like 3 days on drums, and it was supposed to be like 4 days on guitars, a day on bass, and then a couple days on vocals, and then 4 days on mixing. Like however it was, it always ended up that we were behind because this one guitar player would just take forever and it was slow.
I know exactly how that goes. Actually, sometimes.
So, but where it came out was that when it was time to do vocals, there was always like, okay, you've got to sing 4 songs tonight, so don't sing too hard. I guess when I said sing low, I meant like kind of low, like I couldn't scream, because if you sing softer, you generally have better pitch.
Well, yeah.
Like if you really go for it, just like scream it, the pitch kind of goes out the window quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
And also you can, you can't sing as long, like you'll lose your voice sooner. So it's kind of like, okay, Dennis, we've got 4 songs to sing, but don't push too hard because we don't want you to, we want you to be more in pitch and we don't want you to lose your voice.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of felt like Unleashed was kind of like too soft because I had to sing that stuff soft, and I wanted to be more screamy, more gravelly, more aggressive. And so, especially for the first record with me singing, I was a little bit self-conscious about it being like too gentle sounding.
Yeah.
And that was why. It was because of like, okay, we got to sing 4 songs. Don't sing too hard because then it'll be all pitchy. And nowadays maybe they would just put auto-tune on it or something.
Just mess with it in the computer somehow.
Or we would just take a bunch of takes and splice it or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I usually do when I kind of mess with guitars that I just can't get. I'll take 2 or 3 different parts and I'll just use the best parts of them.
Yeah. We'll comp the tracks and I did Subliminal Messages I recorded by myself.
Yeah, I thought so, because I bought that album a while back.
And the guitars. What's that?
I bought that album a while back, and I thought I saw something about you recorded that yourself, and like that one was one of my favorites, right next to Unleashed.
Oh, nice. What we did was Ryan Green did the drums and the rhythm guitars, but then he had to go work with Lagwagon or somebody like bigger that had a he had some kind of schedule already that he had to do, and it ended up that I just ended up doing it in my friend's backyard studio, like kind of me producing it, which especially doing the vocals, my own vocals, was really challenging because I didn't know if it was any good or not. So kind of my workflow would be to just play, like I'd set it up and maybe sing the whole song through, but then I would just like highlight a verse. This is when we had computers, so it was much different than Unleashed, which was done like with the producer to tape, I think. But with Subliminal Messages, I was by myself, and I'd like highlight a verse and then sing like 30 or 40 takes of it, and
Nice.
just like over and over and over again. And it was cool because I could just scream and do whatever I wanted because it was just me. I wasn't paying for someone else's time.
Well, exactly.
But the downside of it is that once I was done with all that, I had to spend hours and hours editing it. It was like, okay, like, is my vocal better on take 13 or take 27?
Well, actually, I know.
Every single line.
Yeah. No, editing can be your best friend or your worst enemy. I know that one all too well.
Yeah, and if there was a part I had trouble with, maybe I sang it 40 times and I sang it like flat every time. You know what I mean? Like, and so I'm sitting there like with the piano going, okay, here's the note I was trying to hit. Which one of these 42 takes sounds the most like this note? You know, and I'd be like kind of listen over and over and over again to all these takes. But at the end of the day, I was really proud of Subliminal Messages, but I also had put so many hours into that I didn't even want to make music after that. I was just over the process took so long and was so hard and so grueling that it really turned me off from making music for a while. So after that, I decided not to ever try to do that on my own because the amount of time was so much. Like if I had been making minimum wage on that record, on the time I spent on that record, I would have, made quite a bit of money. And so I decided I'd rather work, make a few bucks, and then pay someone else to do it and do it like in a reasonable amount of time, rather than in like hundreds or thousands of hours of me just editing and. So anyhow, but the end result was cool. Like I was really proud of how the vocal sounded on Subliminal Messages, and but then not too long after that, I ended up becoming the sound engineer for Prince and for his live concerts, and then I kind of put the band aside for a while and just focused on being a sound engineer for concerts.
Frick, that's awesome. So how was touring with Prince?
Stressful. He would, I didn't do so much like touring with him as like just different types of shows. There were a lot of different types of events, like everything from the Super Bowl to Oscar awards parties, and like he played on Saturday Night Live. He played at he did a little hit at the American Idol. Like there's all kinds of things like that. He had a lot of parties, and I did a lot of sound at parties. And then he had a venue in Las Vegas for the album cycle was 3121, and he had a room at the Rio that was set up for concerts, and we were there for several months, like playing like maybe 3 nights a week. So it was really interesting and challenging and cool, and but also very stressful because he would often change things and do things that were pretty unorthodox.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would work out well, and sometimes it would kind of backfire. And so it was challenging for me to provide a high level of professionalism when I was doing things that were a little bit beyond the normal boundaries.
Well, Prince.
And that's why I ultimately quit. Is like I was doing the job of the front house engineer and also the monitor engineer. He had me mixing the monitors from out in the house, and I felt like ultimately I couldn't do a good enough job quickly.
Yeah. Like for what he wanted.
I figured it was going to crash, and I basically told him I'd rather have you be mad at me for quitting than mad at me for wrecking a show.
Right.
And,
yeah. Who wants to ruin a Prince show? Or did want to ruin a Prince show, I guess. Yeah. And so I always thought I would get called back because he typically works with musicians for a while and then gets burned out with them. But then a lot of times he calls them back. So I actually traveled for many years, and in fact, even till he passed, I kept a big note sheet in my computer bag that basically, in case I ever got called up, I would be able to just go out and mix a show, like a show with all the song notes and stuff, like all the times on the delays and stuff for the effects. And
I just always thought, well, sooner or later I'll get called back. In fact, I did get called back once. It was on a Oscar night, but I was already assigned to work the governor's ball of the Oscars that time.
Ooh, snazzy.
I couldn't leave because the security for the Oscars is so tight. It had been done months in advance. And so I was trying to get out of, after the Oscars, after the party was even over, I was trying to get out of the loadout and go mix prints at a club because his sound guy had been drunk and missed the flight or something. I don't know. Or he had been drunk when the security guy called him. Basically, the security guy called me at 5 a.m. and said, "Hey, can you work tonight for Prince?" And I said, "I don't think so because I'm, working the Oscars party."
Nice.
Anyway, I did carry around that paper that had all that info because I always thought that, sooner or later he'd call me, and because I was one of the few people that he hadn't fired, like I had been.
You just kind of quit on your own. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd been with him for a year and a half, so he obviously liked what I was doing,
Well, enough to keep you around that long, yeah.
Yeah, and there were a lot of musicians that he had that he'd get sick of working with people and then just start working with different people. But a lot of times he'd go back to the other people later. And so I just figured, well, he'll rotate me back in, at some other point. But sadly, it didn't come back. I actually did just work for the band. There's a group called NPG, New Power Generation.
Okay.
Which is basically a tribute to Prince, but with Prince's actual band.
Oh, okay.
And,
cool.
I did some gigs for them earlier this year in Minneapolis, and can't remember where else. Oh, one was at Mardi Gras.
Oh, nice.
But,
yeah,
it's a whole different story. But yeah, Prince's actual band, there's quite a few different musicians that work for him, but particularly the keyboardist, Morris Hayes, had worked for him for many, many years. And I called up Morris asking if he would vouch for me on my resume, basically. Because like when I'm looking for work, it's hard for me to have references on a resume because if somebody likes me, they probably don't want me to go work for a different artist.
Yeah, exactly, right.
And some of the artists I work for are fairly high profile, and their management doesn't want to be bothered by people calling them, like, did this guy really work for Beck or,
yeah.
Foo Fighters or, like that kind of thing. Like it's high level management. They don't even answer my calls. They're not going to answer like someone who's just checking out a resume.
Okay.
So, but I thought, well, this was kind of cool. Like, what if Morris will vouch for me? Because, because obviously no one, like Prince didn't have a manager.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I called Morris up and said, hey, would you vouch for me if, can I put you on my resume, basically? Because a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, I worked for Prince or whatever. But if you talk to the actual music director and he says, yeah, Denny was great, we loved him, that means a lot more than somebody just,
oh, yeah,
putting that name on their resume without any real backup.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So anyway, when I called him, he was like, oh, I don't want you to go work for other people. I want you to work for me. We've got a bunch of gigs coming up with NPG. And so anyway.
So same deal, hey? Just exactly what you didn't want to happen.
Actually work out. I didn't end up putting him on my resume because of the same situation, and also because he's so busy, he probably doesn't answer the calls either. But I gave it a shot. But then also this last year, I've been doing Tendril Pull rather than going out and doing audio work. So, lately I haven't been looking too much for audio work, but I need to start pretty soon.
Yeah, and
to make up for all this time I spent goofing around with the band on tour.
I was just gonna get to the tour here. You said you were coming to Canada here, and I noticed you had a show in Regina, and I do believe Saskatoon here in Saskatchewan.
Yeah. We kind of the tour. We have what we call the Escalating Quickly tour, which we spread it out a little bit because of some opportunities that we had to play festivals.
Yep.
And so, actually, we drove down to LA, started the tour, played punk rock bowling, played Denver and Chicago, and we went up and we played a couple of shows in Quebec and Ontario. Then we took a break, and then last Saturday we played with Millencolin again in Quebec province.
Nice.
And then take another break, and then we go back and play at FEQ, which is it's a really big festival, but we're playing the after party. So essentially, after the Offspring plays, a bunch of people will swing by this VIP party, and we're playing at that. So
Nice.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then, but our van with all the gear is already there. Like we drove it from LA to Quebec, and I left it at my friend's house in Quebec. And so I just, fly back in, grab the van, and then drive across Canada.
Huh.
So we hit, we hit Winnipeg, Regina, Saskatoon, Edmonton, Leduc, Kelowna, Vancouver, and then down into Washington. So if anyone wants to see, 10footpole.com has links to all there's like one that's just a big tour overview, and then one that's a link to our Facebook events section,
okay.
which has kind of the show details.
Yeah, we'll actually probably share some of that stuff on the Facebook here after this airs, or even before it airs. I've shared a couple of things on the Under the Radar page a couple of times, but I can't remember if you've liked them or replied to them or anything. I remember tagging 10-foot pole in a couple of things, but I'm sure a lot of people do that crap. So.
Well, we appreciate it. I mean, I try to make good songs, and in this case, it's really DIY. Like, another thing that we did on this record that was different was I just decided I wanted to make a record, and so I tried to do like a crowdfunding thing, but rather than try to do Kickstarter or something where we need people to pay first,
yeah,
I decided I would basically go into debt and pay for the recording myself, and then ask people on Patreon to subscribe, like with a monthly thing.
Okay.
And the cool thing about that is, like, the lowest level is $1 a month, which seems pretty reasonable. And then one really cool thing from my perspective, especially, is besides the things that we give them, like early music and podcasts and other things, most importantly, we have my emailing list. So, like, if we have information to send out, I can send one email and everyone gets it.
Oh, cool.
As opposed to, like, Facebook, where if I want to put information on Facebook, I have to pay them.
Yeah.
Boost the post.
Exactly.
And even people who wanted to follow 10-foot pole, I'm basically paying to send them information.
Yeah.
And so that's a bummer. So
it is. It really is.
Yeah. So that was kind of the idea. And there's also different tiers. So on other tiers, people get like gifts, like merchandise, or at the shows, when it's a headlining show, we have people on our guest list who are like super patrons, we call them. Or if you noticed in the artwork, there's pictures of people, and that's those are super patrons.
Okay, yeah.
The perks of getting the glory of having your picture in the artwork forever.
Actually, it kind of reminds it. Didn't you guys do that on Unleashed too? Isn't that in there?
Well, on that stuff, it was just random, like friends.
Oh, okay.
We did we made like kind of a collage of just silly stuff.
Yeah.
We did it on Swill, and then we did do it on Swill and on Unleashed. But this is different, where it's actually like the faces of people who are supporting us.
Oh, okay.
Patrons.
Yeah,
like
that's cool.
Patrons of the arts, and so, and also I'm hoping. I mean, it was kind of like a pay it forward thing. Like, I paid for the record to make the record, and then I'm hoping that this kind of helps pay it back, so that I could do another one, like an acoustic record, or just to kind of help the project to go forward.
Yeah.
By being a monthly thing, so that's pretty cool that people can support us and help. Because people are always saying, "Well, keep making music." There's like, well,
it's pretty hard and costs
like $1 a month.
Yeah.
If you really want us to keep paying music, to keep making music, writing music, recording it, whatever, we just need help, because there's no way with the music industry the way it is now.
Yeah.
There's no way that
it's got to be done for fun now.
Yeah. I mean, and I could make like kind of low budget recordings in my house, but there's part of me, I don't know if my ego's just too big or what, but I want to make good sounding recordings.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I've spent the last 10 years in my studio, like, making just kind of home demos that I can kind of shine up enough to put on, like, my own band's releases, kind of stuff like that. Put it on Spotify and see if anybody listens, kind of thing.
Sure. And I'm a sound engineer. Like, I'm a high level
Yeah.
sound engineer, but for live stuff. Like, I'm a live specialist. And I make like little, demos for 10-foot pole, but especially after subliminal messages, I don't have the patience to do what it takes, the patience or the skill set to really make recordings that way, because like live, I have a very limited time to do it, and I crank it out and do it, and we're in control of the volume people listen to it at and the tonality of the room we're in, compared to like trying to make a recording that sounds good on everybody else's stereo at any volume. It really, and all the editing just drives me nuts. The whole idea of like just the way you put together a record is so time consuming compared to, like I walk into a venue and have a couple of hours to throw together the sound there, and then it's over. The show happens and then it's over. And it's usually it's great and it's real satisfying, but then it's done. I can't imagine like making a record where you spend like a year just, well, I mean, if I tried to make a record, it would take a year. Like people who are experienced, it doesn't take that long because they're quick at all the editing and, but it's still like maybe it's 2 months. I don't know. Like, I don't know how long it really, I guess it depends on the budget and what you got going, but I make demos, but I haven't even wanted to try to make something that sounded great.
No, I actually get that. Like, I've been working with a new band here, like called Maxstone. I'm gonna try to make their new record for them, like with them. They're kind of purchasing a bunch of equipment and building a little studio, and they just want somebody who's got some sort of experience with this recording thing to kind of go out and help. So I'm gonna see what I can do, and hopefully it turns out good.
It's great to have somebody else have their ears involved and let them make, decisions, especially if you're singing, like to have someone else listening saying, yeah, that was a good take, or no, let's just do it again.
Yeah. I mean,
you don't end up with 40 takes and 35 of them suck anyway.
Exactly.
That you can just say, you know what, that was not worth keeping. It's gone. And you don't have to listen to it another 5 times in the future. I should mention, I did mention paying for the recording. Like people wonder if we have a record label. We are on the record label Thousand Islands Records.
Yeah.
Out of Montreal, and but our deal with them is they're handling the physical product. So
okay.
I covered the production, like the cost of recording, the artwork, and like everything that it took to get them the mastering. Everything that it took to get them the files, and then Thousand Islands.
They just kind of took it from there, and
like the manufacturing of CDs and albums, and
okay,
and they did some marketing and other stuff, like getting a publicist, and they're helping with on that end of promoting things. Most importantly, they like kind of handle like the professional stuff that I just wouldn't know how to do, like as far as getting the stuff, going from that point of having some files to actually having like a real release and having
like marketing it and
to announce it, and and even just like getting the files ready and having it being the right, like they send them out to DistroKid or wherever.
Oh yeah, I use CD Baby.
Spread of it. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. CD Baby charges. I just found it a lot easier for me. They charge you one fee instead of, I think DistroKid you got to pay every year to keep your crap online. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, CD Baby just kind of, it was nice and easy, and it just, I don't have to pay again. Like, it's a little bit more money, I think, than DistroKid to like put your album out, but you don't have to pay a yearly fee. At least I don't know if Distro.
I don't remember how it works exactly. I do remember trying to register everything with Sound Exchange and stuff, and it was a big hassle because I did it a few years ago, and they lost it. Like, I sent all the stuff out, and I was like, it's weird. I never got any like checks, even though I assumed the checks would be like for 50 cents or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I never got anything from Sound Exchange. Like, I thought like they're the ones who are supposed to pay for like digital,
like your royalties and stuff, or
called. Yeah, basically like digital royalties. Like if something's played on Spotify or whatever, they know it and calculate that 1/10 of a penny or whatever.
Oh yeah, and, boy, it's big. I've seen them. I got my.
Like, even if don't have anything here. And I said, well, what happened to it? And they're like, oh, we don't have any record of anything. And then I looked through my emails, and there's definitely, like, I submitted it, and someone even wrote back to me. Like I have a record of it. I
just, like, history erased, eh? Huh.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, if something happened where I did something wrong, they should have told me, hey, remember that thing you did? Well, it didn't work out. But just drop the ball and let it go for years.
No kidding.
And then we have another record coming out. Like, whatever happened to all that old stuff I put up there? Like, what stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it might have been $16 worth of money, but I mean, it's still $16 you could have made. Like,
I mean, I have no idea how much the money is. I don't know. And they do claim they go back 3 years.
Yeah.
So basically, anything before 3 years ago is gone.
Yeah. Since my
like maybe some satellite radio station played it a whole bunch of times,
and
I don't know.
You'd never know. Yeah. Like even on like our station, like the stuff that I play on the show, I don't think they play it on any of the other, like, you know, shows that they have on the station. It's just, mine's just this like little lone thing that plays like Choke and like tons of Canadian hardcore and just like a bunch of random stuff. Like the other day I played like Space Hog. We talk about aliens and stuff sometimes, and our shows get banned from YouTube. It happens.
For space alien talk?
Oh, totally. We don't like.
Why would YouTube ban it? I don't understand.
I don't even get it myself.
Criteria.
I don't get it because I watch tons of alien conspiracy stuff and on YouTube, and it you know, that stuff's still up. But the only other thing I can think of is I don't know if Epitaph like really claims their music hardcore and doesn't let you upload it, but most times when you upload a like another band's song to YouTube, it just puts an ad over it and it sends the royalties back to the publishers, right? And the only thing I can think of is maybe Epitaph uncoolly won't let me, because it basically says, I think it was ADD that I tried playing from Unleashed, like the original recording, and it just like immediately banned. Yet I can find it on on YouTube. So it's just like,
that's weird.
Yeah, it is really weird. But I keep getting these notifications. Yeah, that are like,
well, plays on this interview, don't play any of that stuff. Play stuff on Escalating Quickly or from Setlist.
Yeah, I was gonna say Setlist has ADD on it.
No blocks on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I might try that.
It's a better version too. It sounds Setlist sounds great, I think, and like
it does. Yeah.
I felt like pretty much everything got like a little bit of an upgrade. We talked earlier about the Radinsky factor of like, you know, part of me always had kind of a little vulnerability as far as like, you know,
well, yeah,
that thought that, you know, that your own singer is better or whatever, and so I wanted to have one kind of nice recording of me singing the song. I wrote most of the songs, like all those songs. Like,
even in the old days when Scott would sing there, you wrote them, like, or most of them anyway.
Well, yeah, not all of them, but like on Setlist, almost all of them.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But yeah, like from the old Scared Straight days, like I was always involved in writing and whatnot, and especially over the years, I tended to write more and more as we went, and my point just being that they were like, I wasn't like an imposter that like joined the band afterward. I was always in the band, and I was a songwriter.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wanted to actually sing my own songs, but also I wanted a good quality like recording of me doing it, because we were out playing on tours and stuff, and there were kids coming up saying, "Oh, well, what record should I buy?" I didn't want to hear them to, well, you know, this song is on Unleashed, this song is on Bad Mother Trucker, this song is on Rev, but it's a different guy singing, it's a baseball player. Like, I didn't want to have to go into all these
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Story, you know, I wanted to just say, get Setlist, because those are the songs that we play the most often, and it sounds good. And it's like a nice, good, clear sounding reference. And
like your own
me singing, so I don't have to go into all the drama of like, you know,
yeah,
band history, what happened in 1989, and you know, all that stuff.
I'd watch that 10-foot pole documentary. I really would. Not even gonna lie.
I enjoy talking about the past a little bit, and on the Patreon I've been putting out podcasts where I talk with people, and a lot of times on the talks I'll go into like stories but it's not that I have a list of stories to tell. It's just
they randomly
talking, like something will randomly like spark my memory of like, oh yeah, I remember that hotel in Chicago and this thing happened, and
yeah,
or Saskatoon perhaps, but like because we're talking about Saskatoon or Regina, I'm sure I could suddenly come up with those kind of stories.
that would be sweet.
I don't expect any kind of history of the band thing. I think if we were a little bigger, maybe I could justify that, but I generally would rather like invest my time in going forward rather than back.
Exactly. No, but it was it was awesome talking with you, man. I actually had a really good one here. We went over the dates in Canada here and stuff like that. I got nothing.
I didn't tell you the exact dates, but there's some time between. I know July 19th is Winnipeg, and I know July 26th is Vancouver. I want to say the 20th is Regina, and it is a Saturday at the Mercury.
Yes, the Mercury.
The next day is Saskatoon. So I think Sunday, July 21st. Does that make sense? Is possibly Saskatoon.
Man, yeah, I don't know. I'll be sharing the dates. Oh,
it's in that time frame. But if you check out 10footpole.com, it has the links to everything, to Patreon, to the tour dates, to places you can listen to Escalating Quickly for free, like all that kind of stuff. Places you can buy merch or albums.
No, that's awesome, man. I definitely. I wish you guys good luck for sure. Oh yeah, no.
Thanks so much, Colin.
By the way,
if there's anything we can do for you or help you out in any way, or do you ever have any audio questions about concert touring with Prince or whatnot?
Oh, I have plenty. We'll have to do another show with my co-host. He'll ask you lots of questions about Prince, I'm sure.
I'm fine with it. My life's an open book.
Nice. Well, next time I'll have to. I wasn't too sure if we should get into the. If I should be myself around you yet. I wasn't too sure if that was going to offend you. So good to know I can do that.
Well, I don't know. You didn't say anything terribly offensive, so I think we'll be all right.
It's always a different story with Kane here, dude. Trust me.
Well, if you start trying to get me to sign up for your religion or some kind of a political thing.
No, we are the least political. Least political people you'll ever meet. Trust me there.
Okay. I'm fine with it. I just, you mentioned offending me. I'm trying to think of things that could possibly offend me,
It's really tough to say what we could, it just happens organically. Like, we don't plan it. It just, shit, we said that. It just happens.
Right.
But,
me of the line "and everything dies," which I think is probably the most offensive line on the album, where I tried to go kind of overboard with "everything dies," and I even put a line in there of like, "your puppies will die," and I'm kind of giggling about it, which I have dogs, and it's such a sad thing to think about that. But at the time, I was thinking of like, what could I say that would be like the most like, oh my god, I can't believe you said that.
Yeah.
It was like
should have just ended the song.
Your puppies will die.
Should have just ended the song with like a G chord strum, just "puppies will die." Yeah, there we go. I'm sure we offended somebody there. Thanks, Dennis.
I remember when I said that, I think Ryan said, "Did you just say your puppies will die?"
That's gold, kid. Gold.
It could, that could be the part of me that's like, I used to do sound for the last couple of years. I did the last couple tours for Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh yeah.
And
that would have been amazing.
Kind of a Dr. Demento guy. There was a song called "Dead Puppies Aren't Much Fun," and that's like, it's just. So I definitely do have a side of me that's it's just trying to be ridiculous.
That's awesome. Well, no, it was.
I do love my doggies. I'm the opposite of abusive.
Oh, same here, dude.
Silly.
I got a kitty that's just. I got a kitty that's dumb and fluffy, and I love her so.
Nice. Well, thanks, Colin. I think we all good then. 10footpole.com.
Yep.
Please come out to the show. 10-foot pole shows are like the nicest groups of people usually, like people, especially compared to like the kind of testosterone bro crowds you sometimes
Yeah,
shows.
I hear you there. It's kind of why I stopped going to a whole lot of shows, like, of certain bands. It just turned into, like, a douche crowd. I couldn't deal with it.
Fool's not like that. We're more like, I mean, we have a song called "Don't Be a Dick," and that's kind of
It's a gooder.
And the shows tend to be interactive, and people tend to be friendly to each other. So I would encourage people to come out and have a good time. Please sing along. Look forward to being out there.
Do you guys still play John?
When are you going to show love to my city or whatever? And it's like, the only way we can is if people actually come out when we go. Because if promoters lose money on it, then they don't want to invite us back. Sorry, you asked if I was going to play a...
sorry, yeah. Do you still play John live or Fiction by any chance?
Yeah. John more than Fiction, but yeah, both those songs are still on the... I go through a lot of musicians. It's hard for a band that loses money to be...
Well, yeah.
To keep people around. Typically, if guys are really like kind of high-level functioning, they'll end up getting better jobs, better offers eventually. So it's been very hard to keep, if we were a band that made money like No Effects or Millencolin or something, then it makes more sense.
Yeah,
people
all stay
back,
together.
But,
yeah.
But when you lose money, it's kind of like, okay, guys, you want to go to a show next October and leave your other job?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
and that's why I've never been like much of a touring musician. I like to sit around in the studio and kind of tinker and toy and spend a year on an album like you hate. So
yeah, I do love it. I love touring. I love singing. Like lately, I've been doing the acoustic thing, so I love also just like doing the acoustic versions of things when I'm out.
Okay.
As a sound engineer, and so that's why sometimes you'll see like I'll put out a thing saying, "Hey, here's my days off, and I'm going to be in this town on this day."
Okay.
And,
yeah, I do see that on the
so
10-foot pole page. Cool.
Yeah, it's just kind of random. Like, oh, okay, look at this. I've got a Thursday night off for my Weird Al tour in Saskatoon. I'm gonna stand out and play acoustic guitar at this intersection. Well, maybe it's a real show. Sometimes it's an actual show.
That's awesome. No, that's actually.
I mean, that's kind of one of the things about being a Patreon subscriber, 10-foot pole patron is you'll get those kind of emails. Be like, okay, I'm at the IHOP across from the
nice
from Motel 6. I'm at the IHOP out singing on the patio.
That's kind of funny, man. That's good to know.
Because I sing every day, so I might as well invite people to come out if they if you want to be serenaded.
Oh, nice. Well, we'll just have to.
Still in there. I love the song, John. I felt like it was kind of one of the best lyrics I ever did.
I agree with you, man. That is one of my favorite ones ever. And actually, to be honest with you, for some reason, Fiction. I don't know why. It's just an amazing song. Yeah. Like that opening guitar line, right to just like that solo at the beginning. I love them.
Nice. Well, Fiction, I'd say we play maybe 50% of the time, but John, pretty much every show we play John.
Oh, awesome.
So that's yeah. So if you do come out to the show, just remind me about Fiction. Like I'm pretty interactive. A lot of times during the shows, I'll say, does anyone have any questions? And I'll listen and actually respond, because I think it's fun when the crowd gets involved.
Nice.
Like just doing that, like having an open communication. It's not like we're gonna do our set and you shut the hell up. It's more like, hey, thanks for coming out. How can we make your night better? Do you ever have
I've seen bands do that.
Please remind me to do Fiction. If it's not on the set list, we'll probably just play it anyway.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. And by the way, that's what I was meaning to tell you before. The Regina show is actually on a Saturday, the 20th.
Yeah, Saturday, July 20th.
Yeah, that's the one we looked at. And the Saskatoon one.
The Mercury Cafe, which I understand the Mercury's it's just going to be kind of a very humble experience. It's not like a big rock concert sound system. It's more like a little vocal PA. Yeah,
we're just
going to have a good time.
Yeah, one of my friends' bands played there actually. Savage Henry and the infamous One Pounders just not too long ago. Pretty kick-ass band. Interesting name. I shouldn't say stupid name, but
yeah. Hopefully they'll have subwoofers by the time we go, but I heard they didn't. But
yeah, I'm not too sure.
So you have a little bit of thump in the sound system.
Yeah, I haven't. I've never actually been to a show at the Mercury yet, to be honest. So I'm not too sure what it's going to sound like.
Yeah, I don't have high expectations, but at the end of the day, what I think it's going to be is an intimate crowd.
Yeah.
And so I would sell it on that, you know, you're not going to be one of 1,000 people. Let's put it that way.
No, it'll probably be like the last show I went to in Regina, man. Oh, who was it? I saw the Bomb Pops with like Strung Out, and like this is Strung Out, man, and it was like half full. Yeah, so
I mean, I don't know how many people will be there, but no matter how many, we'll like have a fun show and do what we do. Sometimes the fewer people, the better, because then we can all talk.
True. Mind you, that Strung Out show was on a Wednesday, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because I have the 2 posters side by side, because you guys played the weekend after Strung Out did, and I had to choose between Strung Out and you guys, and I was like, shit, I've never seen Strung Out before. So I kind of, I wound up getting free tickets, and I just kind of went.
No worries. Well, luckily we got another opportunity swinging back into town July 20th, Saturday, July 20th in Regina.
Exactly.
And looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm hoping I get to see you there. If not, either way, it was great talking to you, and I hope to have you on the show again if you want to do that again sometime.
Yeah, would love to. Well, thanks, Colin. Take care, and hope to see you there.
All right, buddy. Well, you have a good night, and thanks for giving me a call, man.
Okay, you too. Take care.
All right, see you, man.